while those brought up on its unique charm will gladly clamber a mile just to catch a whiff of the divine stuff, the uninitiated will run twice as fast to escape its wildish flavor. Yet, this devotion isn't confined to the borders of Northeast India. It is equally a highly sought-after foodstuff across Southeast Asia, in countries like Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, and Vietnam. For anyone captivated by social geography and cultural history, tracing the migratory journey of this exotic bean offers a fascinating map of human connection. Manipur's attachment to Yongchak is perhaps best summarized by the common sentiment found in its descriptions. A Manipuri person away from home misses Yongchak, Aramba, more than almost any other food. The connection is so strong that any threat to the Yongchak tree is seen, not just as an agricultural issue, but as a direct threat to their culture. This Yongchak craze is by no means limited to the Manipuras alone. The Nagas, the Mizos, the Kukis, and the numerous sub-tribes woven into these larger groups are equally devoted Yongchak gastronomes. The Manipuras simply lead the charge. In this collective obsession, they say, if a dying Manipuri catches even a passing whisper about a Yongchak delicacy being prepared for the meal, he will try to prop himself up on his elbow. Indeed, a true Yongchak buff would find it near impossible to depart this mortal world, if the smoky, pungent pull of the monkey bean happens to be the last thing lingering in his mind. What is it that makes Yongchak so intensely covetable? Beyond its atypical taste and pungent flavor, there are fascinating layers to its character. It has a notoriously powerful purgative effect on the bowels, so much so that modern research is exploring its potential for crafting advanced cathartic drugs. In older times, when smallpox used to be a devastating epidemic, Manipuras held a firm belief that consuming Yongchak shielded them from the disease. It also has a remarkable reputation for keeping people upbeat and energetic, acting almost like a natural antidepressant. But let's be entirely frank, there is another notable aspect to this bean. If you are a regular consumer of mature Yongchak dishes, you become a potential threat to your own social life. It leaves the regular eater prone to breaking wind, with a violently offensive, unmistakable smell. To the hardened Yongchak buff, this post-digestive aroma isn't too disagreeable. But to the uninitiated, it is a shocking onslaught on the senses. A sensory ambush that will literally make them flee the room. A gentleman from Kolkata got the shock of his life one day while visiting the communal toilet of a shared house in Silchar. Among the tenants was a Manipuri gentleman currently riding high on a frenzied Yongchak season. Minutes after the Manipuri gentleman vacated the cubicle, the Kolkatan entered, cheerfully humming a Tagore song. He shut the door and settled in, only for a suffocating, dense malodor to instantly engulf him. Gasping for breath, he sprang to his feet, let out a subdued grunt, like a pig under the butcher's knife, and froze in absolute horror to figure out what was happening to him. Then, with the frantic haste of a commuter fleeing a sinking boat, he threw open the door and shot out like an arrow, sputtering a volley of incoherent words. To anyone watching, he looked exactly like a man who had just witnessed a brutal murder. A total pandemonium ensued. The entire household gathered, trying to decipher what had caused the man to completely blow his top. The poor fellow was babbling wildly, his thick Kolkata accent clashing hopelessly with the Sylheti-speaking crowd around him. Finally, after much incomprehensible hand-waving, he made his point clear. It was a matter of a biological weapon of a smell. The menfolk immediately surmised that the previous user must have neglected their flushing duties and began investigating the culprit. "I saw Singday emerge from there just a minute ago," someone murmured. Singday, that is the Manipuri gentleman, faced the charge boldly, admitting he had used the facility, but insisted he had done nothing to offend a soul. In a pack, the tenants marched over to inspect the crime scene. To their surprise, the cubicle was immaculate. The floor was dry, the pan was spotless, and it actually looked cleaner than ever. Manipuris are known for their devotion to cleanliness. The incident remained an absolute mystery, as the neighbors, standing at a safe distance, with the door wide open, couldn't detect a thing, leaving some to openly doubt the Kolkatan's sanity. It was only much later that the truth dawned on the Manipuri gentleman. A faint Yongchak smell hangs in the air inside a Manipuri toilet during the Yongchak season. It attains ominous proportions when a person has just added his share to the source of that tenacious malodor. Culturally, Yongchak inspires a diverse array of culinary arts, though to its true devotees, its primal appeal remains absolute. No matter the presentation, even gnawing at raw, freshly skinned pods is completely irresistible to true aficionados. The bean is perhaps best enjoyed raw, when it is still young and immature. At this tender stage, it is skinned and sliced fine to make singju, a deeply loved Manipuri side dish. The thinly sliced Yongchak bits are tossed with pairings of various fresh kitchen herbs, then gingered up with fiery green chilies, salt, and a medley of local spices. This vibrant mishmash is then spread on a wide-bottomed dish and sun-dried for about an hour, transforming into a vitamin-rich, mouth-watering appetizer. As the season deepens, and the pods reach a more mature stage, Yongchak transitions into a hearty vegetable. At this point, it is typically prepared as a stir-fried medley, alongside brinjal and potatoes. However, the true crown jewel of the season is Yongchak tomato, a simple, rustic preparation that any genuine buff would gladly die for. Before we continue, if you value deep, well-researched stories from the Living Ethnic Museum of Northeast India, please subscribe for more treasures like this, defining the mind, heart, and soul of this livewire culturescape. Your encouragement helps us dive deeper. Thank you. Returning to the topic. Yongchak tomato becomes the ultimate household staple when the bean reaches full, heavy maturity. This is the exact culinary stage that sets the buffs farting around, and amateurs should proceed with caution. The fully grown, dense seeds can be quite a shock to the digestive system of the uninitiated. To prepare it, the mature pods are char-grilled directly over a smoldering wood fire until the outer skin turns completely black. The smoky white fleshy meat and rich green seeds are then scraped out and mashed into a rustic paste along with boiled potatoes, stewed tomatoes, and fresh coriander. And yes, a potent touch of local umami plays the final decisive role in giving this ultimate dish its legendary depth. When Yongchak tomato is on the hearth, housewives routinely measure out extra portions of rice. They know from generations of experience that when this smoky, pungent dish is on the table, every member of the family will easily eat 1.5 times more than usual, losing themselves entirely to the spell of the crazy bean.